Today on the Call of Bilal, the source of motivation. Motivation is a natural factor that's embedded in our lives. Too many people look outside of themselves to get motivated. Motivation is something that comes from within. If you're motivated, then that means you're self-driven and you're driving yourself. If you need a force from outside to pull you, that's not really motivation. You need to find something deep within inside of you that's going to drive you when nothing else is fueling you, when nothing else is giving you that energy, when nothing else is pushing you and carrying you towards the destiny that you want. You should have something inside of you, okay? It's a natural thing. When babies are born, when babies are small, very small, and they can't move, when they first come out the womb, you know, they come from this environment of just pure comfort and they're relaxed. But when they come out into the world, then all of a sudden, now they start feeling hungry. Now they start seeing people moving around them, doing things that the babies themselves are not able to do. And there's times when they get so bored at just sitting there, just sitting around, that they want to do what everybody else is doing. They start to get frustrated, and you see them start to move, and they get frustrated. And with that frustration, they start crying, they get to shaking, but that frustration, it creates movement in their lives. Frustration is a mechanism that is supposed to create movement in our lives, and with that movement comes the use of muscles, and that's building up our strength. Okay? So eventually the babies can push themselves up, and eventually they can stand up. And eventually, after that, they can crawl and then they can walk. Why? Because they get so frustrated that frustration brings movement in their lives, and the movement brings strength, and that strength gets them to their destiny. So what is the motivation? The motivation is that you see a life that you want for yourself, and the frustration that you have in not getting it should bring a movement in your life. Now, the older you get, the more conscious you get. Now that movement is not essentially a physical movement, but it's a drive, an internal drive. You should be moving towards your destiny. If you know you want a certain lifestyle for yourself, you should be moving in that direction. You should consciously think about the life around you, the life that you have now, and let that frustration that you have drive you. You should constantly be working on something. You shouldn't be at ease. The reason why babies are able to learn and to grow at such a much more rapid pace than many adults is because they're so frustrated. Well, they don't see any limitations for themselves. And anything they see other people doing, they see it as a possibility for themselves. And if they want to do it, they're going to go after it. They're going to go after it, and they're going to be driven until they actually do it. When they learn how to walk, they fall over and over and over and over and over. But they never let that stop them. No matter how many times they fall, they always get back up and try it again, and they keep going until they make it happen. Excuse me. That is the resolve that we should have. That is the level of commitment that we should have. The commitment, the motivation is grounded in faith. You have to believe that what you want for yourself is a possibility for your life. Faith is the cornerstone. It's the foundation. It's the essence. It's the seed that's going to drive everything. Everything that you create in your life comes out of the seed of faith. So faith is at the root. It's at the core. And that faith, the belief that you can have the life that you want, is where you get that motivation from. Now, if you don't have the motivation, and if you're not driven, then that means that somewhere along the way, a core part of you, something that's vital to your ability to create success in your life how you should, has been separated from your nature. Like somewhere along the line, that element has been separated from you, and you have settled into settling. And what you need to do is not settle. Don't ignore the appetites that you have. Don't ignore the frustrations that you have. Don't try to run away from them. Don't try to drown them out with entertainment or with you know, some substances or whatever. Don't try to ignore them and push them away. Don't try to act like they don't exist. Focus on them. Let them drive you, let them motivate you, and let them get you to where you need to go. And that's my thoughts for the day. Let you have faith in the destiny that you want, and let that faith, let your appetites, embrace your appetites that you have to go after that faith, and let your frustration in not being able to achieve that be what brings about the movement that strengthens you enough to the point where you can make it. And that's where your motivation comes from. You can get motivation outside of you, but that motivation is just a crutch. You should recognize that that's just a crutch until you can stand on your own. And a crutch is something that you need when it's not a natural situation. It's just there to restore you back to how you should be, to your natural posture. You use it to walk when you can't walk on your own. That's what those outside motivating factors are. And you should recognize them as that. Don't depend on them. Depend on them only until you can get to where you need to be inside of yourself, where nothing outside of you can stop your drive and motivation. And go forward to the destiny. We cannot stop now. All right. So those are my thoughts. If you like what I said, if it benefited you, or if you think it could benefit somebody else, like, comment, share, subscribe. And until next time, those are my Think Big thoughts. Have a great one. Be productive. Peace.